Hello everyone out there in YouTube and the world. This is Brother Aaron. I don't know if you have noticed the skies today in Vancouver, but I say there's something weird about the sky. It's awful hazy. It's just weird looking. I think it is definitely a sign from God. We are in our last days. So awake, old sleeper. Be awake for God's plans. Don't fall asleep and fall short of His glory. Because if it is the case, if we are in our last days, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by the evil one. Because if we're in our last days, people, let's get right with God and declare God our Father and live life for God and not live life for anybody but God. So this is why I'm doing this today, and I'm going to start streaming all the time on YouTube. So the daily word for today is Deuteronomy 6. I'm going to read Deuteronomy 6. It says, "Love the Lord your God. These are the commands, decrees, and regulations that the Lord your God commanded me to teach you. You must obey them in the land you are about to enter, occupy, and you and your children, our grandchildren, must fear the Lord your God as long as you live. If you obey all of His decrees and commands, you will enjoy a long life. Listen closely, Israel, and be careful to obey. Then all will go well with you, and you will have many children in the land flowing with milk and honey, just as the Lord, the God of your ancestors, promised you. Listen, O Israel, the Lord is your God, the Lord alone, and you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your strength, and you must commit yourselves wholeheartedly to these commands that I am giving you today. Repeat them again and again to your children. Talk about them when you are at home and when you are on the road, when you are going to bed, and when you are getting up. Tie them to your hands and wear them on your forehead as reminders. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. The Lord your God will soon bring you into the land He swore to give you, when He made a vow to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It is a land with large, prosperous cities that you did not build. The houses will be richly stocked with goods it did not produce. You will draw water from cisterns and did not dig, or you did not dig, and you will eat from vineyards and olive trees. You did not plant. When you have eaten your fill in this land, be careful not to forget the Lord, who rescued you from slavery in the land of Egypt. You must fear the Lord your God and serve Him. When you take on an oath, you must use only His name. You must not worship any of the gods of neighboring nations. For the Lord your God, who lives among you, is a jealous God. His anger will flare up against you, and He will wipe you from the face of the earth. You must not test the Lord your God, as you did when you complained at Mazzanine. You must diligently obey the command of the Lord your God, all the laws and decrees He has given you. Do what is right and good in the Lord's sight, so He will go with you. Then He will enter and occupy the good land that the Lord swore to give your ancestors. You will drive out all enemies living in the land, just as the Lord said you would. In the future, your children will ask you, what is the meaning of these laws, decrees, and regulations that the Lord our God has commanded us to obey? Then you must tell them, we were Pharaoh's slaves in Egypt, but the Lord brought us out of Egypt with his strong hand. The Lord did miraculous signs and wonders before our eyes, terrifying blows against Egypt and Pharaoh and all his people. He brought us out of Egypt so he could give us this land he had sworn to give our ancestors. And the Lord our God commanded us to obey all these decrees and to fear him, so he can continue to bless us and preserve our lives, as he has done to this day, for he will be counted as righteous when we obey all the commands the Lord our God has given us. So that was the daily word for today. Like I said, be awake, be alert, because you never know the time or the day when Jesus is coming. He's coming like a twinkle in the eye. So be ready, be on your guard. Guard your heart from anything that might not be worthy of God. Open your mind and soul for God's plans. Not for your plans, but for God's plans. Remember, what you do with God, for God, do it with diligence. God loves you all so much, and he wants you to know he's there for you. Sometimes he tests us. We know that when we get tested, he does it for a reason. If he didn't think we can handle it, he wouldn't do it. But he wants to make sure we are awake, that we are alert, that we're living our lives for him. And I was listening to a guy on Periscope, a prophet, and he said, fashion me, Jesus. So Jesus wants to fashion you. So fashion you with the good things, not the bad things of the world, but good things. So this is a wonderful day. It's a beautiful day, but like I said, there's something strange about the sky. I don't know what it is, but I feel like we better be ready, because never know when that day's coming, when Jesus is coming. So be awake and alert. Watch for him in the clouds. Because if we're asleep and not alert, we might miss that day. But God loves us, and I just know tomorrow is going to be an amazing day at church. It's going to be, I feel like tomorrow at church, we're going to have a big old revival at Church on the Rock. So if you're in Vancouver, come check out Church on the Rock tomorrow, and you're going to be moved. We're going to have a big revival. I believe in it. Like I said,